Hi, my name is Drew, N1ER or N1er for you ham types. You know, I'm a lot like you. I have things in life that I love doing, and I've discovered that if you find a way to make those things intersect, life is even more awesome. You may think that hogs and ham radio can't go together. Well, I'm here to change your mind. There are other things that I enjoy doing as well. For instance, I love watching my kids play sports, play in band, and live life. I love working in ministries and with underprivileged groups. And you know what? I love Georgia Tech, the Atlanta Braves, and yes, the X-Files. I'm here to answer all sorts of questions and show you how your passions can intersect. We'll talk hogs and hams, but also drink some bourbon and play some D&D, so join me on this episode of Hogs and Hams. Hi, Drew, N1er here. Sorry it's been a while. My house gets kind of crazy in the spring. You see, one of my side hobbies is soccer refereeing. So usually between the months of like January and May, I'm refereeing high school and middle school soccer here where I live. So that was a lot of fun. It's always good to get out and run around a little bit. So I apologize that I haven't been able to post videos like I wanted to. But good news, I'm back. And with me today, I'm joined with Brandin from AARG and his VE team. And just as a disclaimer, don't forget that I am part of that VE team, and so I help Brandin out with the testing and stuff like that that we do all around the world and all around here in the United States. But Brandin's going to give us an update about what's new with the AARG group, some exciting developments on the software development, just some general updates of what's been going on, and just to let y'all in on a fun little, it's not a secret, but a fun little thing that we did actually within the past week was we were able to give ham tests down at the South Pole at one of the U.S. research stations that down there. We did a totally remote session. We had a lot of fun doing that, got some brand new generals, some brand new techs, and a couple brand new extras operating on ham radio down there from the South Pole, so listen for them. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, but to be completely honest, we're actually going to do an entire episode on that, hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks, but we'll touch on that, and then, as I said, just some general touching base and see what's new. One of the new things is the AARG has actually switched VECs, and that has actually brought about some benefits as far as pricing and some abilities to be able to give y'all some discounts on your testing needs. So we'll let Brandin talk about that. With that being said, take it away, Brandin. Hello, everyone. I'm joined again with Brandin from AARG, and we're actually going to do some updates today on the VE program, some FCC fee updates, and basically just talk a little radio and a little bit about your ham testing needs and how hopefully the AARG Club can help out with that. So welcome, Brandin. Thank you for joining us again.
Absolutely.
All right. So first question, what are the latest updates to the VE program and what's going on with your club?
Yeah. First off, thanks for having me on. As always, a pleasure to spend a Sunday afternoon in probably one of the most gorgeous states in the country to do this with you. So again, thank you. Our VE program has definitely had some tremendous changes over the last 3 to 4 months. We have shifted our focus to trying to recruit VEs who live in the western half of the U.S., as well as folks living in Alaska, Hawaii, any of the U.S. territories in the Pacific, for the sole purpose of garnering a much greater presence to serve folks on the West Coast. We have had many people ask about doing schedule changes so we can actually give exams that met the needs for folks on the West Coast, i.e. doing exam sessions later in the evening West Coast time. For the last 18 plus months, we have been an organization that was centered on giving exams that were convenient for the eastern 2/3 of the country. And the number of people wanting to test with us on the West Coast at a more reasonable time has definitely increased. And so in order to focus our efforts on meeting that need, We have put the call out on many occasions asking for VEs who are eligible to serve as a VE, and asking for those who live in the Mountain Pacific, Alaska, or the Hawaii time zone, or any of the Pacific territories that are U.S. possessions to serve with us. And remarkably, we've put the call out, and we have had we've had 6 new VEs join our program from those areas of the country, and we have several more who are on the in the queue to be brought in. So my goal is to keep that going for a little while longer, and then once I get enough VEs on the West Coast, it'll give me an opportunity to open up additional opportunities for those who want to test with us on the West Coast at a more reasonable time of day for them, as opposed to some being inconvenienced by having to get off work early, or some not being able to do it because it just doesn't jive with their schedule. So that's one of the larger changes. We've also done some tremendous updates to the way we are processing applicants for as they fill out an application to join us. Where we've definitely modernized the way we handle those applications. We've streamlined it so much more, to the point where for somebody like myself who's processing a new applicant to test with us, it's essentially point, click, and hit the little green button that says send, and it goes out. So everything is definitely, because we're closer and closer every day to being fully automated, and that right there is allowing us to truly excel and be more versatile in our operating capabilities, regardless of physical location. It really opens up the door for us to do so much more with remote testing, and I think the best is still yet to come.
Mm. Thank you for that update, Brandon. And just out of curiosity, what time frame are you looking at on the West Coast as far as when people are able to take tests? Like, what does that look like?
Uh, my hope is that by September, I will be able to, so September 2022, my plan is to start offering regularly scheduled exam sessions that meet the needs for West Coast applicants. Now, right now, we are offering 2 sessions per month, the second and fourth Friday at 7 p.m. Alaska time, which is 8 p.m. Pacific. That allows for folks on the West Coast to test with us. And something funny that I've seen the last couple of times we've done these, actually our last Friday night session that we did, which was this past Friday, we had 5 applicants test with us, and all 5 of those applicants were in the Central and Eastern time zones. So I don't know what it is. We offer an exam session for folks on the West Coast, and people on the East Coast and Central time zones seem to just latch right onto it, thinking this is perfect, So I guess there are night owls on the East Coast. I think it's great. But conceivably, we're looking at doing these on a regular basis come September, in running them alongside these sessions that we've been doing since the day we started.
Gotcha. That makes total sense. And also, just another update. It's my understanding that you have switched VECs, so you're no longer with AARRL, and just kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would like to elaborate how I really feel about my previous engagement with the ARRL, but I promised myself that I would be very cautious in how I approach that. But the short answer is yes, we have changed VECs. We are no longer using the ARRL for remote testing or as our sponsoring VEC. On Wednesday, the 23rd of June, we officially began our term of service with the W4 VEC. That's the Whiskey 4 Victor Echo Charlie. Their headquarters is now in Tennessee. They're actually headquartered outside of Memphis, Tennessee. We switched over to them. So we switched over to them because we wanted to be able to do a few more things that we were not able to do with the league. One of those was not having to charge someone to retest if they fail. being able to offer free exams to specific groups of people, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit, and being able to get people accredited faster, and just an overall better working relationship that I have that I've accrued or accumulated working with the W4 VEC just in the last 3 weeks in comparison to what I've dealt with for the last 18 months. So the long-term benefits that this has for us are by far, it's truly a blessing if you really want to know the truth. And I'm grateful that the W4 VEC has decided to take us on, and their willingness to allow for the Aurora Amateur Radio Group VE program to be the first remote VE program in their VEC really speaks volumes about their willingness to place their faith and trust into us, and their willingness to give us free rein and being able to continue doing the remarkable service that we've been doing, and just do it in a much more hassle-free manner. That has really been a huge blessing for us, and quite frankly, I'm grateful for it.
Gotcha. Well, I wish you all the best of luck in that transition, and I'm sure it's gonna help out everyone involved. So good stuff. And then
Thank you.
next up, so what are some highlights from the past few months from the AARG? Anything that you'd like to share with everybody?
Like I said, we've been remote testing still continues. We have highs and lows just like a lot of other organizations do. We don't push hundreds of applicants per week like some teams do. We're not focused on quantity, we're focused on quality. And what we have found is the number of people we're getting is on a very modest increase. We have had a lot of people come see us for testing, especially given the fact that July 1st, the new tech question pool comes into effect. And a lot of people are trying to cram for that exam before the question pool changes. So we've been getting a lot of people doing just a tech exam, but that's fine. We're here to serve everybody. But we've been doing that, and we've just had a lot more of our volunteer examiners in the last 90 days step up to the plate and take various leadership roles within our VE program, such as running exam rooms, working as a session manager, and taking the load off of my shoulders, which has been a huge help. But just the overall willingness, drive, and desire to serve the underserved with a very incredible exam platform that we're working with and using has really allowed us to shine in ways that I never thought or imagined. And so that's just a general rundown of what we've been doing. As far as session related stuff goes, we have in the last 2 months, we have done a couple of exam sessions down in Antarctica. We did a session on May 13th with an individual at McMurdo Station. She upgraded from tech to general, and outstanding session. And then we just did a session on the 25th of June where we tested 12 applicants and gave a total of 25, administered a total of 25 examinations to folks at the South Pole Station in Antarctica. And that was a lot of work to make that happen. And something we'll talk about in another interview in the not too distant future. And I hope for those of you who are interested in that sort of stuff that you would tune in for it, because there's a lot of information to be had and a lot to be learned. So the time taken to prepare for that was absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. But that extra time taken to prepare for those sessions has allowed for both of them to go as well as they did. But again, we'll talk more about that another time. But that's really the gist of what we've done. And the hard work continues, and the motivational level with my VEs has not wavered in any way, shape, or form. It's as high as it has ever been, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon.
Absolutely, and I'm a little biased. I was part of that one of the Antarctica team, so I appreciate having the opportunity to be able to be involved with that, and we're definitely going to have a special episode and talk about that more in depth. But historical for a lot of reasons, and we'll definitely touch on that here in a future episode. All right, and then our next question, Brandon, is around exam fees. My understanding, like with the switch to the new VEC, there's some new, I guess, fee setups, and just talk us through what those changes are.
Yeah, so one of the things that I was really honing in on with the ARRL that never went anywhere for reasons I do not have today, simply because they never gave me a reason. Um, the exam fee at a test with us now is $12, $12 to take your test. And as I mentioned earlier, if you fail an exam or fail an attempt and you want to try again, we are now able to allow you the opportunity to retest at no additional charge. So that $12 basically pays for your seat, and it pays for your entire exam session. So you can literally have one attempt at all three elements and still take all three and pass them in one session. So in theory, you could literally take 6 exams in one session and still pay the $12 to test.
Wow.
So it's a really nice deal. It's a really great deal. If I would have to have done that through the ARRL, you would have paid $60 to retake 3 elements and still pass them, not to mention the fee just to walk through the door. So it's a huge difference in financial changes from the examinee's perspective. The one thing that we also tried pushing for, but we never got anywhere through the ARRL, was free exams for those who are under 18. So if you're a child under the age of 18 and you want to test with us, it doesn't cost you anything now. If you're active duty United States military, if you're a United States Armed Forces veteran, sworn law enforcement, or a first responder, you no longer have to pay a fee to test with us. We will ask for you to prove we'll ask for you to prove that you are eligible for that on exam day. And should you not be eligible, or should you not satisfy the eligibility, we'll ask you to pay the $12. But if, as long as you've got proof of your status that makes you eligible under one of those categories, then your exams will be free. And I think that's a great thing to do as far as offering free exams to those who are frontline first responders, or for those who are still in uniform serving our country, or for those who have served, as our way of saying thank you for your service. I'm grateful that we were willing to get that worked out with W4 VEC and allow for us to actually give free exams for a change for certain groups of people. And it makes me feel good to know that there are people that actually care enough that they were willing to take on this concept and actually run with it. And so it was received with wide open arms when I made the proposal. And as of the 23rd of June this year, I can now do it, and I couldn't be more pleased.
Awesome. And I'm sure you're going to have a lot of people taking you up on that. So I'm glad that you're able to do that. And especially with the retest not requiring fees, I know how big of a headache that was and how we felt bad, having to do that to people.
Yep,
So I'm glad that you got that through. And then kind of
absolutely.
along that same line of thought, I know there have been some changes with the FCC as well, as far as
Mhm,
what they charge.
mhm.
And I'm sure the viewers are probably aware of that a little bit, but do you mind walking us through what those new FCC fees look like?
Absolutely. So on April 19th, 2022, the FCC implemented a new fee structure for all wireless services. How it affects amateur radio is, as of April 19th, applicants will pay $35 for a brand new amateur radio license. They'll pay $35 for the renewal of their amateur radio license. They'll pay $35 for a sequential call sign change. If they wanted to get the next systematically available call sign, they'll be charged an extra $35 for it. Or if they wanted to get a vanity call sign, there's a $35 fee for it. Where the $35 fee is not charged or imposed, if you upgrade your license, so let's say you passed with us and you got a tech license, you'd pay the $12 a test and then the $35 licensing fee, so $47 spent on your tech license. When it comes time for you to upgrade, let's say you come back and test with us for general, you'll pay the $12 exam fee to test with us. But the nice thing is, for license upgrades, there's no FCC fee being imposed for the license upgrades, which I think is great. Now, in the beginning, when the first when the docket was first put out, when the public notice was first put out by the FCC, the way the verbiage was, if you will, the way the language was portrayed is that you would be charged $35 to do anything other than a simple administrative update. Well, after some clarification and a little bit of pushback by a couple of the VECs, the Federal Communications Commission's Wireless Telecommunications Bureau said, no, we'll go ahead and waive the $35 fee for license upgrades. Simple administrative updates like changing your address, changing your name, your email address, phone number on your license, anything like that, no $35 licensing fee. But for anything else, whether it's a new license or a modification of your station call sign or a renewal of your license, that does require the $35 fee. And it took about 2.5 weeks for them to fully implement it into the electronic batch filing system. But once it was fully implemented, everything's gone quite well. The only downside to the new $35 licensing fee is it adds up to 24 hours to the processing time for somebody to get their license once they pass their test.
And so, kind of speaking along those lines, I think you bring up a good point. What does the turnaround time look like currently between somebody that, say, is testing for their tech license, they're brand new to the hobby, from when they test with you until they can get a license? What's that time look like right now?
It can kind of vary, right? So sometimes, as long as there's no red light review or your license application is not offline by the FCC, if you test with us during the week and you pay your fee after we submit the information to the FCC, which it's now done the same day. If you pay your fee as soon as the batch file processes with the FCC, you'll have your license issued the very next morning. Otherwise, during the week, could be up to 36 hours to get your license. And if you test with us during the weekend, you won't see your license issued until that following Tuesday morning.
Gotcha. Wow, that's still really quick. I know when I got my license, it was like close to a week before I got that first call sign. So
Yep.
still kudos, extra, super fast.
Yes.
And then finally, just a couple of things around the VE team that you have set up with the club. Remind people, why should they serve with your VE team?
Well, we're not really just a team. We're like a big family. Well, we are. And I'm, the Aurora Amateur Radio Group VE program started out originally as a dream of mine. And it was my dream for a long time to create something that whose sole purpose in life was to give back, and to give back unconditionally, without prejudice, without hesitation, and to render a selfless service by serving the underserved. And we operate under that premise each and every single day, and it allows for some of my VEs who may not be comfortable serving elsewhere an opportunity, or a safe haven, if you will, to fully expound upon their knowledge of amateur radio, their willingness to give back and actually help people get what they want, and to be a part of a team that actually acts like a team, works like a team, but also treats each other like family. in a way that you will never see with anybody else. We are very, we're very organized at how we do things. We're very militant in how we operate at times, but that militant mindset has allowed us to truly excel and be in the position that we're in right now, which is, we have a lot of people who are wanting what we have as far as, policies and procedures go. And, and conversely, we have a lot of people who admire what we're doing, even though they have no interest to serve as a VE. They see what we're doing and they think these guys really have their act together. So, why do I think somebody should serve with us? Well, I think that somebody should consider serving with us because we actually have a true heartfelt care and desire to help these applicants not only get what they want, but we're willing to bend over backwards to ensure that any one of them that needs our help we're available for them anytime, day or night. A lot of VE teams in the country don't do that, but it's that sense of family, that sense of community, and that sense of it's just that sense of service that really hits home. It really kind of ties everything together. And people might look at this and think, well, this guy's nuts. How can you prove to me that this is truly a place to be and it's truly a place to serve? Well, my answer is simple. I can't sit here and prove it to you. You need to come see it for yourself. You need to come experience it for yourself. And that's really where I stand on it. And that's kind of why I think you should consider looking at us.
And thank you for that, Brandon. And just remind everybody the websites that they can check out, and I'll put this below so y'all can click on it, but remind us the websites where we can check out the club, the VE program, all the things.
Yeah, so our club website can be accessed by going to aarg.club. That is Alpha Romeo Golf Charlie Lima Uniform Bravo. That's the URL to our club's page. And I would encourage you to peruse through that. A lot of resources are on that site for studying for your license, various amateur radio related resources, and a lot of other neat little tidbits to go with it. You can reach the Aurora VE program, the Aurora AARG VE program, by going to auroraveprogram.org. That is Alpha Uniform Romeo Oscar Alpha, or correction, AURORA VE program, as in Victor Echo, and then the word program.org, all spelled out. And take a look at our website. All the information you need about joining our VE program is there. We have a new streamlined process on how to bring VEs into our program, and makes it a lot easier for you in the end. So by all means, check us out. And if you want access to taking some practice exams, you can go to our exam platform's website by going to hamexamgen. That's HAMEXAMGEN.org. And on the left-hand side, click on practice exams if you want to take a practice test. Otherwise, you can go through our remote testing page on the VE program website to schedule a remote exam, or if you're interested in serving as a VE with us, all the information can be found on that site.
Thank you for that, Brandon. And as I said, everybody, I'll list those links below so you can click on them. Thank you so much, Brandon, for joining us today. As always, we're going to have you back, and we're going to do that special episode on the South Pole, and you can tell us all the awesomeness that went on there, and we'll go into detail on the tech, what went into that. We'll talk a little bit about the platform and why it has to be the way that it is in order to make that work. And then we'll just talk about, the individuals that were able to get licensed while in a different continent with, just a little bit of satellite pass over time. So stay tuned, guys. That's going to be a great episode. But thank you for being with us today, Brandon.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Brandon. That was a great update. Really appreciate you joining us today and kind of talking us through all the new and exciting things with your group. Looking forward to doing some more exams with you here shortly in the future. With that being said, I want to touch a little bit on our to-go nugget today. And this to-go nugget is actually, it's something that's inspiring to me and hopefully for everyone out there. But I mean, never be happy with where you're at. So one of the things that I admire most about Brandon is just his drive to always try and make the platform better. I love hearing his stories about how a couple of years ago, this process wasn't even in place, this software wasn't even developed. But Brandin is always trying to tweak it and make the process better. He's always looking at options that are out there on what can make the group better, what can bring better value for the people that are testing with us, who can give us the ability to give discounts for those groups that Brandin talked about. So, I'm appreciative for that. And so I guess that's the thing that I just want to throw out there for this episode, guys, is never be comfortable where you're at. Never think, that what you've got is good enough. Look for the little tweaks. Look for the little changes that you can do to provide value for everything that is in your life. Whether that's family time, whether that's work and career, whether that's just a hobby, try and find those little tweaks. It doesn't have to be big overhauls, but find those little tweaks that makes everything better. So thank y'all for joining me today. I look forward to talking to you next time on Hogs and Hams. This is N1er, Drew, signing off.